Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Marie. Today we're going to be moving into the energies of our first chakra today, our tribal energies that we find from the base of our spine all the way down to our feet. But before we do that, let's do a small recap of the information that I shared with you in our last video, where I laid those foundations of the words that I use, my vocabulary, how I'm going to navigate you through these next 7 sessions, and those other informational tools like what dross is and how to set your space and those types of things. And I think it's important for us to instill that information into our practice. So let's revisit those 3 P's that we talked about in our last session. So I'm a gardener, so I like to call it planting my row of peas. So perspective, power, and practice. So let's go into those 3 just for a few moments and revisit those messages that we have there within those. So our perspective is how we view the world. Through which lens do we want to bring in information? It's much more than just looking at the glass half full or half empty, although that is part of it. But it's much bigger than that because you're much more complicated than that. And so our perspective tends to change as we mature, as we grow older, as we grow wiser, because wisdom doesn't necessarily come with age. And so our lens of perspective, when we start this course together, may be very different than the perspective that we end up at the end of these 7 sessions. Because ultimately, I'm going to be offering you some information that were great tools for me to put into my toolbox. And again, because I know they help me, I know that they're going to help at least one of you out there. As we put these tools into our practice by allowing our lens of perceptions to change as we grow, where we stop looking at every challenge in life as something personal and we look on it as the universe putting us in a direction that is meant for us. When we start doing that, our lens of perceptions change. We learn because we're growing up out of that ego state. We're learning to grow where we can take in information, and it doesn't have to be the hard hit that goes right into our heart and devastates us and we can't get over it for days, months, weeks, years, or ever. We learn to be stronger than that. And as we take in information, we still have to learn to take that information in with some discernment and a critical eye, but we learn to be more open. So maybe where we thought at one time this piece of information was meant as criticism, but we now actually take it as a learning tool going, you know what, there's something valuable there for me to learn. And so as we do this, we're putting our tools from our toolbox into practice, right? We're putting it into our life so that it can start to make those fundamental changes that we so desire. Because I do firmly believe that every human being out there really just wants love and happiness in their life. Because love is the driving force of the entire universe. It's the thing that we seek the most. And so as the perception changes and we learn to put it into practice, it is ultimately allowing us to gain more control over our own power, over our sense of self. And those 3 P's, your practice, your power, and your perspective, those 3 P's can ultimately change your entire life if you allow it. And so as we learn these tools, we then have to take in that understanding that it's not unlike buying a jar of vitamins or health supplements with the intention that, oh, it's going to give me more energy or it's going to help me sleep better, and then getting it home and putting it in the cupboard and leaving it there. These classes are not unlike that, because if you just take the information in during the class time, but then never put it into practice. So if you never take that jar of vitamins out of the cupboard and actually open it and take one out and put it in your mouth, it's not going to have the ability to do any help for you. Thinking about it doesn't create that to happen in your body. It's the same way when you start learning to navigate that territory in the world behind your eyes. You have to be willing to put these tools into your practice. And remember that as we are navigating through these new territories, because let's face it, for some of you that are joining me in this course, for some of you, this is already part of the way you're starting to look at yourself. It's already become part of your healing practice. You're aware of the terminology that I'm using. You don't need the extra explanation, and you're along for the ride to see what other lovely parts of yourself you can discover. But there's also going to be a portion of you that have never ever thought of any of this ever before in your life. That you've never even thought about what goes on in the world behind your eyes. That you've never even given a moment's consideration that my mind is here and there and there and there and in a million places at once. And as you start to navigate this in yourself, you start to come to the realization of that truth for yourself, how busy your mind is, that, oh, maybe I'm blocked in my third chakra. Maybe I feel things in my heart. Maybe I have a physical manifestation in a part of my body that allows me to see things in a clearer way now because I'm looking at myself energetically. So as we start navigating these 7 chakras, I'm going to try my best to help you understand what the sensation feels like. And so we'll start with our first chakra and we'll move all the way up to, in fact, our 6th chakra, because our 7th really isn't attached to our body. It's just hovering above our head. But to have an understanding what the physical manifestations feel like when we've got an energetic blockage or something that's not right within our energetic field. And learning to see and read our own physical biology through that lens of perception is a very empowering thing. When all of a sudden you realize that, well, let me give you a for instance, because we're working with the first chakra today. Let's go there for a moment. Let's say that you received some shocking or some bad news about someone that you care deeply about. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a partner, maybe it's a close work associate, but someone in your tribe, in your first chakra energies. More often than not, you will feel like you have either a weakness in your knees or like you need to sit down quickly because you're physically losing energy through that first chakra when you hear the impact of whatever that news is. And I'm sure if you look back into your history that you can find at least once where you can associate what I'm sharing with you to some place and time in your own life. I know myself because I truly believe that I know myself so much better than I did 20 years ago, 10 years ago, that if I physically think in my mind about someone in my tribe, so one of my children or a grandchild, if I think about something that could potentially interrupt their life, I get a weakness in the back of my knees instantly. If one of my children tell me, oh gosh, Mom, I cut my hand or whatever, oh my God, the back of my knees go so weak instantly, and it shudders all the way up my body. That's how I physically feel it when something happens to someone in my tribe. That is what losing energy in your first chakra could feel like to you. And as we navigate through our chakras, I want to remind you of this, that every chakra holds on to information relevant to that chakra, okay? So there's blockages happen all throughout the day, and your chakra system doesn't run like traffic lights. It's not red, yellow, and green. These dance around and talk with each other all day long. The second and the third and the fifth, because your fifth is all about choices. They're constantly working through the energies that live within those chakras. And so because of that, they each have the ability to lock on to things. And because you might have never thought about your life in this way, know that as I'm moving through these chakras with you and trying to teach you what it feels like within your biology, because this is what it feels like in my biology, but it may feel a little different to you. And you have to be open to those interpretations, because this is your intuitive guidance that's ultimately speaking through you. Your intuition unlocks as the sense of self grows. That's our third chakra. But I ultimately am going to try and navigate you through the understanding of the physical sensations within all of these bottom three chakras, because these are your survival instincts, right? So maybe down the road, as you're starting to pay attention to, let's say, some first chakra energies, as to where you feel that energetic movement in your body. I don't know, maybe you'll get a tingling in your feet. Maybe you'll feel like you have to sit down all of a sudden, and you'll start to honor that, because you now understand that this means I'm losing energy here. So I need to do something to physically stop that. It really is no different than if you had cut yourself on your hand or your arm or your foot or your leg, and you need to stop the flow of the blood, because you know that blood is energy to you. It's what keeps you alive and moving, and you have to stop the flow of blood. It is the same in your energetic system once you understand what that feels like in your body when you're losing energy in that particular chakra. So I hope this makes sense to you. And let's move on into the word dross, because I want to expand a little bit further on that word. Dross really is the energetic release of the physical manifestation of trapped energy within the body. And again, I can only give you examples through the lens of my own life. And so that's what I'm going to do again and again and again. I'm going to share little snippets and stories of my own life that I make the association with, so that it can trigger something in your own life, so that you can make sense of it in your own way. So for instance, I am very open and honest with all of my classes that I definitely have work to do in my second chakra. It's an ongoing thing for me. So a number of years ago, I had an accident which resulted in kind of a long-term problem on the right side of my body. And it really ended up manifesting into a really bad bursitis in my hip, to the point where I couldn't barely move some days. It hurt so bad. Every step was agonizing, and there were moments where I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to need a hip replacement. It's so bad. And through doing the work in behind my eyes and understanding that I had a blockage there, I was willing to take myself further and do some really deep inner work that involved working with some entheogenic plants, working with that plant medicine to help me release that energy that was trapped there. And if I'd never experienced it myself, I wouldn't even be speaking to you about this. But let me share this with you. At the end of that experience, I had an energetic release within my physical form that I could never have imagined. And at the end of it all, I was able to walk without pain. This has been for a number of years now. And I realized at the moment when it was happening that this was trapped energy that had basically stuck itself into my hip area, in my second chakra area. And these were the physical manifestations I was getting from it. So much pain, so much inflammation, barely able to walk some days. And it took myself and the courage I had within myself, and then the foundations of spending time learning about this so that I felt comfortable to go into that space to do that kind of inner work. The effects they are long lasting. They're life changing. For me, it changed everything. I can now sit here in the lotus position for a good period of time. I couldn't do that a number of years ago. I couldn't even sit with my leg bent like this. And to know that it was all at the end of it, the root cause was this trapped energy that I had to let go of. I had to make the conscious choice to let go of that, but then work with a little plant medicine to help me get there. And it is one of the most life-changing moments of my entire life. And so, for yourselves, pay attention to your biology. Where am I jammed up? Where do I hurt? Where am I always aching? Oh, I've got this shoulder issue. Well, your shoulder's in the area of your heart chakra. Maybe there's some transformation issues going on. Do you have digestive issues? Maybe it's all about the sense of self. You start looking at yourself through these lenses by paying attention to your biology. Oh, there's dross there. I've got some trapped energy there. Let's learn to work to let go with that. Stretching exercises, meditations, the work like we're doing behind our eyes, all of them add a quality of value to your life to help you let go. Because, this is something I heard as a young woman, but I never fully understood it. That the journey of healing is all about letting go. And it really, truly is. Both symbolically and physically. It really is all about the letting go. So, as we move through life and things happen to us, situations transpire, and those instances get trapped within our energetic self. That is our outer world, so our biography, becoming our biology. Okay? We live what is surrounding us, and we live the way we believe. So as we change our perspective, our body has absolutely no choice but to follow and heal as well, because in the way I've been taught and in my absolute belief that the body follows wherever the mind goes. So now it's time for us to step into that world behind our eyes and move into the energies of our first chakra today. And as we do that, let's take that final moment to make sure that our sight is prepared for us. That we have our rolled up bolster that's going to be positioned on our mat underneath our upper shoulder blades, that we have a pillow or some type of chip foam block for our head, that we have a bolster, which I'm sitting on here, but that is available for us to put underneath our knees so that we can offer that comfort into our lower back and support, and that we've got our clear quartz crystal for placing at our crown chakra, and that we have those lovely oils near us. So our Mysore sandalwood that we're going to imbue a little piece of cotton. So just as a reminder, if you've got a little cotton pad, you're going to peel off a tiny little piece of cotton, roll it into a ball, and get that ready so that we can imbue that with some Mysore sandalwood as we move further along into that venture today. That you have your Indian gulab rose oil ready for you for placing that on the back of the left hand, that you've made that lovely cup of tea, whatever works for you. Maybe it's chamomile, maybe it's tulsi, maybe it's peppermint because it's a hot summer day and you need some cooling and a little digestive aid going on, but whatever works for you. And you've got that placed beside you in your favorite mug so that as you move through this time with me, that you've got the ability to just reach out casually and offer your body a drink when it asks for it. Maybe now's a good time. And that you've set your space in whatever comfort works for you. So for me, I love to have my singing bowls beside me. I love to set candlelight up because I love the softness of that quality into my meditation. Maybe you have a favorite blanket for yourself, or maybe you're still a young mom. Maybe you've got one of your kids' favorite blankets that you'd love to snuggle up with because it smells like them. Whatever works for you. Teddy bears, crystals, and set that space up so that you're nice and comfortable, so that you can move into the world behind your eyes without worry that you've forgotten something for yourself. So pause the video for a moment and just take a moment and do that for yourself. All right. So in moving into those energies of our first chakra, the first thing that we're going to notice is the color red. So like I said in our last video, I'm going to try and adorn myself in the colors that the chakra that we're in represents. And I've got a lovely red scarf underneath my singing bowls for you. So just to embody that in your mind, we're in the color red. And remember that our chakras all go in accordance with the color of the rainbow. So just like we learned in, I think, kindergarten, Roy G. Biv. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And that's how we're moving through them. This is all about the energy of the tribe. This is the chakra located at the base of our spine. In the Sanskrit term, it's the Muladhara chakra. And the musical note that we find here is the note of C. And the frequency that we find here is 7.8 hertz. This is also known as the Schumann frequency, and it is also the frequency of Mother Earth. Now, I do have to say that at the time of making this video, that new information is coming forward now about the frequency of Mother Earth, because we are in a time of great awakening, and that in fact the frequency has changed and it has gone up, and I don't have those new figures for you, so I'm going to utilize the information that I have, and as that information comes into me, I'll add that into another short video somewhere along our way. And maybe this is a good time to just say this is, I had one of my students in my last class ask me why I thought that would be. And I threw that right back out at the class. And I said, well, why do you think it would be? Like, why do you think that the base frequency of Mother Earth has risen up? And everybody sat there very quiet. I don't know if they were afraid to speak or not. And then I said, well, are you more awake than you were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, even a little bit? And as we all consciously wake up, we are raising the vibrations literally within ourselves. And because we are one in the whole, We are all one. We all breathe together. This is a universal law. As we rise our vibrations, the earth is rising its vibrations because we are all one. As you learn, the tools within these lessons, within these sessions about the chakras, you start to gain the courage to realize, I can do this, right? And every time someone tells you that you can't do something, it's them talking about themselves. They can't do it. Therefore, you must not be able to do it. You need to come in the back door and realize that you can do anything you set your mind to. And myself and everybody else who has opened the door towards this journey can tell you exactly the same thing. It is the most scariest thing to step into your own power, to realize who you are, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, what drains your energy, what makes you feel fantastic about yourself, what you will and won't put up with in life, where your integrity and your honor code lie, where you've drawn that line in the sand. You learn that those lessons that you're learning here build that strength in yourself, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day what happens. It doesn't matter what the powers that be, whatever you want to call the system that runs the world, it doesn't matter anymore. And it doesn't matter that everybody doesn't agree with who you are. Because the fact of the matter is, as you move through these sessions and as you learn about yourself and your own journey and who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you happy, there's going to be people within your tribe, and that's family, friends, co-workers, teammates, associates, that aren't going to like the new you. And they're going to remind you constantly about the old you, because they don't want to let the old you go, because that's the you that they know, and they can't understand this transformation. And a lot of people, and I have to be very honest with you here, a lot of people are going to start falling away from your life naturally, without any effort from yourself. And it's because as you move through your chakras, as you realize, yeah, I got issues with my family. I got a real issue with my mom. I got an issue with, some uncle or whatever. And as you start working through this, you start to realize, well, I can let this go. I don't need to worry about everybody's approval. I need to worry about my approval. Do I like the decision I made today? Why did I make that choice? Well, I made that choice out of what others will think. It'll get you in trouble every time. Every single time that you make a choice in life based on what everyone else thinks. The most difficult thing I've ever done is step into my own shoes. It wasn't an easy thing to do. It was more than fearful. It was actually one of my biggest fears in my life. Because for me, I had spent a really good portion of my life trying to be the person that I thought everyone else needed or wanted me to be. And it wasn't that I didn't enjoy aspects of my life. I did. But I always seemed to try very hard to try and keep everybody around me happy. And I realized at that moment of clarity that I wasn't happy at all. That I had spent literally the first 40 years of my life trying to be someone for everybody else. And the moment I realized that I needed to figure out who I was and what made me happy, that became the journey within. That's part of what I'm trying to share with you here, is through these little snippets and stories of my own life where you can make those connections into your own life so that the lessons I'm trying to share with you make sense to you. Stepping into your own power. And this first chakra is where we begin, because it's all about stepping away from and understanding that it's important to step away from those tribal energies and move into the energies of the self. And don't take my words for meaning that you can't keep people that you love in your life. The choice is always yours. But at the end of the day, some people will naturally fall away because you're going to be on a very different energy frequency. Okay? So the meanings that live within our first chakra are all about the physical grounding. So physically grounding ourselves to Mother Earth. So the importance of taking your shoes and socks off and standing barefoot in the sand or the dirt or the grass at times, especially when you're feeling wound up about things, when you're going on about something that you just can't let go of and you want to share your story with 40 other people because you just can't believe what you experienced. Those moments? That's when you need grounding. That's when you catch yourself going, oh man, I'm spinning out of control. I gotta go take my socks and shoes off and go stand on the earth and reconnect, physically reconnect to Mother Earth, to Gaia, because this is our connection to Gaia, or Maya, however you want to word this place, this beautiful realm that we live on. General creation is also the meaning in the first chakra. And let me interject this as a little extra here. First chakra energies are all about the tribe. That also includes religions. Religions are all about tribal energies, keeping the group together, supporting the group, whether it's, through physical support or financial support or food or anything. Religion falls into these first chakra energies, as does all of your superstitions that come from your family. I'm going to interject a small one here. My mother always had a famous thing of when she would knock the salt shaker over by accident, she'd always grab a pinch of salt and throw it over her left shoulder for good luck. And I did it for years in my life with not even consciously thinking about it until I caught myself one day doing it and going, why do I do this? Well, I do it because my mom did it. And it didn't necessarily mean that it was right for me anymore. So it was something that I unplugged from and I disengaged from at that moment in time. Superstitions hold you in those tribal energies. They don't allow you to move forward. You can really get stuck in the beliefs of, the evil eye and any of those types of superstitions, dropping a spoon and companies coming and all of those superstitions. They keep you living in these bottom energies. So really consider those things of what you're plugged into. The motto or the sacred truth that resides here in our first chakra is that all is one. We really are all one. We all breathe together, literally and symbolically. At some point, I will take a dive into doing a set of short videos on the mottos for each chakra, taking it just that little bit deeper, giving you just a little broader lens of perception on that. So the fears, or your shadow side of your first chakra, are fears of your physical survival. Because again, remember, we're dealing with these survival instincts in these bottom three chakras. Worrying about the group abandoning you or your family abandoning you. It is one of our biggest foundational fears, that we're going to do something or say something that someone in our tribe isn't going to like, and we're going to feel that energetic impact. And so we try to avoid these things. This is where lying comes in. where we start putting those little lies into our life because we're telling people what we think they want to hear, but it's not actually a truth. It catches up with you after a while. And the loss of physical order, that's another fear living within our first chakra. So if all of a sudden you woke up and you had no use of your legs, that would be a great fear that you would have to work through. And indeed, many people have had similar experiences that have had accidents where they now no longer have access to the movement of a limb or certain limbs or whatnot in their body, or certain senses, maybe a sense of smell or taste is gone. And it becomes a fear that you have to learn to work through. And that's a big fear, right? Because we all strive to survive. That's foundational. And the strengths or the light that lives within these first chakra energies it's all about your tribal bonding and your family bonding and that connection to family, even if they drive you crazy, because most people, let's face it, there's portions of your family that drive you a little bit crazy, but you love them. And that is a strength. And knowing that you can count on them if things get tough, that's a strength. Honor is a big part of those strengths within those tribal energies. The honor of the family, the honor of the tribe. I know my mom doesn't like this, therefore I'm going to honor her request, those types of honor. Loyalty, this is your first introduction to that quality of life, is in the first chakra, is all about loyalty to the family. We can go as far as saying that in these first chakra energies, that loyalty equals love here. Okay? And again, support of the family, knowing that they're going to be there for you. If all of a sudden, your house burns down in the middle of the night, you know that your family's there for you, right? You've got the support. Physically, it's dealing with basically everything from your base of your spine all the way down to your feet. So remember that we have physical manifestations of energetic blockages in our body, and that this is part of the lens that we're guiding ourselves through with this. So if we're having issues with our feet and varicose veins and, things within those first chakra areas, we've got to take that deeper dive. Yes, there's a physical thing going on here, but what else is going on energetically in that? Right? What's going on in those tribal energies? Is there a lot of uneasiness or unhappiness in those tribal energies that is causing this physical manifestation in my body? So we're dealing with your feet and your ankles and your knees and your legs, your coccyx, your rectum. And this is the foundational energies that build your immune system. So this is your immune strength as well. There is a universal law, or we can call it a mystical law or a law of science, put whatever term you need to this, but there's a law that attaches itself to each chakra. And so the law that resides within our first chakra is what we call the law of gravity, or gravitas, or gravis. And that means, in this way we're looking at it, to give weight to something. So when we give weight to a trauma or an event or a place and time in our history, right? We're giving it weight because we're thinking about it at times in our life, right? That's the weight that we're giving it to energetically. The longer we give weight to something there, so WEIGHT, the longer we have to wait, WAIT, for the good things in life to happen. So we need to energetically let go of the weight that's holding us down from the trauma in our history, so that we don't have to wait to be happy. We don't have to wait for something good in our life to happen. We don't have to wait for some other day to step into our life and take control over it. Okay? The analogy that I'd like to give to you about this universal law, this law of gravitas here, is, if I'm not dating myself too much, the story of Chicken Little. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, let me break it down really simple. Chicken Little's doing his thing out in the farmyard. The big bad wolf drops something on his head, a piece of painted blue board or whatever, and Chicken Little automatically, thinks, oh, the sky fell on my head. Anyway, so Chicken Little runs back into the farmyard and he gets everybody in the farmyard worked up. So he gets everybody in the tribe worked up. The sky is falling, and everybody is running around like they're a chicken with their head cut off, repeating the same narrative. The sky is falling, except it takes a wise old rooster to come out of the hen house, look up at the sky, and tell everybody that it's nonsense. So these are the things that can happen. We can get caught up easily in those tribal energies and those tribal beliefs. And again, I'm going to say this is where discernment and, taking some reasoning in for yourself, have a look around you when everybody's telling you this. Is that exactly what's going on? Or can you look at things a little clearer yourself, maybe not buy into that tribal narrative right away and use your own reasoning abilities? Oh, no, the sky is looking pretty good today. Okay. So at the end of every session, I like to say things to you that are going to become ingrained in your mind over this period of time. And these are things like, always consider why you make the choices you do. Because your choices are what distribute your energy. And what you choose to distribute your energy will either enhance or drain you. Simple. Remember that what you find out about yourself today, you didn't know yesterday. So don't beat yourself up for not knowing things yesterday. You have no control over that, so let that go. Because you're going to want to do this to yourself. Be kind to yourself as you navigate the territory and the world behind your eyes, because it's a scary place if you've never ventured there before. Because you're going to ultimately discover pieces of yourself that you might not be ready to admit to yet. And that's okay. Allow yourself to move through this process at your own pace. And remember that it takes an incredible amount of courage to heal, to let you heal. Because first you got to make the choice that you've got healing that needs doing. And as we went through in our one short video where we dove a little deeper into our unfinished business, where we understand what our fears really are, I invite you to constantly remind yourself how much courage it takes to do that work. So, without further ado, let's take these few moments to remind ourselves that we've got our bolster, we've got our pillow, we've got our blankets, and everything that we need to move into that sacred space where we're going to dive into the world behind our eyes with first our readings from Carolyn Mace from Anatomy of the Spirit. And then as I guide you through into our meditation. So now's a really good time if you choose to bring the imbibing of cannabis into your practice. This is the place where I would like to suggest that you insert that. So whether you pause the video for a few moments to do that for yourself, or whether you choose that that's not part of your practice and we just continue on. And so I'm going to take that moment now and set that sacred space for myself. And I invite you to do the same. And so finding that place of comfort on your mat. Positioning the rolled up blanket underneath your shoulder blades so that it's perfectly positioned as you lie over it, that you feel a gentle rising of your chest towards the ceiling, opening up the area of your heart chakra and your upper back. Making sure that you've offered the body a bolster for underneath your knees. And it's important for this because it allows your lower back to relax, the area of your second chakra. Allow yourself to reach for the eye pillow if you choose to bring that into your practice. And remember that this is a sensory experience, and so if you wear glasses, I invite you to take those off now and maybe place an eye pillow or simply a hand towel or a washcloth over your eyes to block out the light of the room and to allow you to go deeper within. Allowing yourself to honor the request of your body for any deeper comfort here, meaning, does my body need a blanket? Am I chilled? Do I need to reposition an arm or a leg before I can settle? And then just allow yourselves to settle here for a moment. Allowing your arms to either be comfortably on either side of you, or maybe placing one over your abdomen and one over your heart. Or maybe you would like to increase this sensation of stretch in your upper back by offering your arms out to either side of your body. Palms facing up for receiving. Or if you've had a busy or stressful day, maybe palms facing down to offer the body grounding. And then just allow yourselves to settle here, finding comfort on the mat beneath you. Knowing that you are completely safe within this space. And knowing how deeply you are loved. Breathing and allowing. All is well. And then taking your awareness to the very top of your head, that is using the power of your imagination. Imagine yourself at the very top of your head now. And what we're going to do is travel down the front side of our body. And as we get to a place in your body that you are finding any discomfort, meaning that you find tension or aches and pains there, you use your inhalation of your breath to symbolically and using the power of your imagination, gathering that tense energy And then using the exhale of your breath, you're going to imagine it being released from your body. And we begin, starting at the top of your head, allowing that awareness to travel through your scalp, all the way until your hairline meets your forehead. And allow your awareness to gather there for a moment. And then travel down the folds of your forehead into the area of your eyebrows, into the sockets of your eyes, your cheeks, into the large muscles of your jaw. Can you allow your jaw to relax and unhinge, and allow your mouth to slightly open? Can you allow that awareness to travel down either side of your neck, into the contours of your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, your hands, and your fingers? And then bring that awareness into your chest, into the area of your breasts and your rib cage, into the area of your lungs, your stomach, into the bowls of your hips, the front side of your thighs, your knees, your shins, your ankles, your feet, and your toes. Remind yourself that the breath is deep and full, yet gentle and smooth, nourishing and healing. And on your next inhalation, bending your knees so that your feet are flat on the floor, and then in whichever fashion is most comfortable for you, taking that rolled up blanket or towel from underneath your upper back and placing it in the area of your buttocks, so that when you allow your body to lie over it, you feel a gentle rising of your hips towards the ceiling. So you want the placement of the rolled up blanket not underneath the curvature of your lower back, but in fact under the meaty part of your buttocks, so that you actually feel that rising of your hips, and you're going to feel a gentle stretch in your lower back area. This is also the area of your second chakra. This is a hot zone of energetic information, and it offers the body a gentle stretch and relaxation in this energetic center of your body. And then just allow yourselves to settle here once again, allowing any final requests that the body has for any extra comfort here to be honored. So a repositioning of an arm or a leg, maybe a repositioning of a blanket or a pillow. But take this moment and honor your body's requests now. And then let's move into 3 cleansing breaths where we draw the breath in through the nose. Imagine collecting any tensions that we find in the body and then releasing them deeply through the mouth. And we begin inhaling in through the nose and then exhaling deeply through the mouth. Again, inhaling in through the nose, drawing that breath deep into the belly and exhaling deeply through the mouth. And one final time, inhaling in through the nose, and then exhaling deeply and fully through the mouth. And then just allow yourself to settle here and allow your breath to return to its natural form, in and out through your nose. And then bringing that awareness to the top of your head, that is using the power of your beautiful imagination. Starting at the top of the head, we're going to now move down the backside of our bodies using that same gather and releasing technique, using our breath. Starting at the top of your head, and allowing that awareness to travel down the backside of your skull, through your hair, until your hairline meets the base of your skull where it attaches to your neck. And allow your awareness to gather there for just a moment. And then using the large muscles that exist on either side of your spine as a guide, traveling down your neck, into the area of your upper back and shoulders, into the area of your middle back, and allow that awareness to travel into your lower back. Into the bowls of your hips, your buttocks, into the backside of your thighs, the backside of your knees, your calf muscles, your ankles, your feet, and your toes. Remind yourself that the breath is deep and full, yet gentle and smooth, nourishing and healing. And our final technique for learning to gather and release tension from the body involves us paying attention to every muscle in our body, from the very top of our head to the very tips of our toes. And as we inhale, we'll tighten every muscle in our body. And as we exhale, we'll release. And we begin. Inhaling in through the nose, tightening every muscle from the very top of the head to the very tips of your toes, and exhale and release. And one more time, inhaling in through the nose, tightening every single muscle in your body. Hold, and then exhale and release. And as you do so, notice how good it feels when you let it go. Breathing and allowing. All is well. And on your next inhalation, bending your knees so that your feet are flat on the floor, removing that rolled up blanket from underneath your buttocks, and assuming that position where you'd like to spend the rest of our time together. Now is that perfect opportunity to take that clear quartz crystal and place it at your crown chakra. And now is also the time to open up that beautiful vial of Mysore sandalwood, putting a little bit on your finger and taking that cotton ball and rolling it around on that. Putting the cap back on your bottle. And then placing that cotton ball in the ridge of the right ear where we showed you in our previous video. So not in the ear canal, but tucked up into the ridge of your right ear. And then using that finger that we tucked that cotton ball into your ear with and bringing those fingers up underneath your nose, softening the gaze of your eyes, and then taking in 3 deep breaths in through the nose, and then exhaling deeply through the mouth. Again, inhaling in through the nose, and then exhaling deeply through the mouth. And one final time, inhaling in through the nose, dropping your hand down beside you and exhaling deeply through the mouth. Knowing that the scent of the Mysore sandalwood is being brought into your biology through the breath, through the placement of the cotton in the ridge of your right ear, and that one of the beautiful qualities of sandalwood is the calming of all the appetites of our ego. It's a perfect oil for helping us to settle into this meditative space. Then reaching for your bottle of Indian gulab, the beautiful scent of the rose, offering just a small little bit on your finger before you place it on the back of your hand, really remembering the rule that less is more here, so you just need a hint of it. And then draw your finger across the back of your left hand, and softening your gaze once again, bringing the back of your left hand up underneath your nose and offering the body those same 3 deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, taking that beautiful scent of the rose deep into the body and exhaling deeply through the mouth. And again, inhaling in through the nose, taking that breath deep into the belly and exhaling deeply through the mouth. And one final time, inhaling in through the nose, dropping your hand gently down beside your body and exhaling deeply through the mouth. And then just allow yourself to settle here. As we take in our first reading from the works of Carolyn Mace, Anatomy of the Spirit. The first chakra, tribal power. The energy content of the first or tribal chakra is tribal power. The word tribe is not only a synonym for family, but it is also an archetype, and as such it has connotations beyond its more conventional definition. Archetypally, the word tribal connotes group identity, group force, group willpower, and group belief patterns. All of these meanings make up the energy content of our first chakra. The first chakra grounds us. It is our connection to traditional familial beliefs that support the formation of identity and a sense of belonging to a group of people in a geographic location. To connect to the energy of your first chakra, focus your attention for a few moments on something tribal that triggers an emotional response in you, like listening to the national anthem, observing a military spectacle, watching an athlete receive a gold medal at the Olympics, witnessing the marriage of someone that you care about, or learning that a child has been named after you. And as you focus on the experience that you choose, be aware that the area your body generating the response is your tribal chakra. Its location is at the base of your spine. And the energy connection to your physical body includes your spinal column, your rectum, your legs, your bones, your feet, and your immune system. The energy connection to the emotional or mental body, the first chakra, is the foundation of emotional and mental health. Emotional and psychological stability originate in the family unit and early social environment. Various mental illnesses are generated out of family dysfunctions, including multiple personalities, obsessive compulsive disorder, depression, and destructive patterns like alcoholism. The first chakra energy manifests in our need for logic, order, and structure. This energy orients us in time and space and to our five senses. As children, we perceive and learn about the physical world through our five senses. First chakra energy has trouble interpreting our lives symbolically, for our five senses give us literal perceptions and cause us to take things at face value. It is not until we are older are we able to seek out the symbolic meaning of events and relationships. The primary fears that live within our first chakra are fears of physical survival, abandonment by the group, and loss of physical order. The primary strengths that live within our first chakra is our tribal and family identity, bonding, and the tribal honor code. The support and loyalty that give one a sense of safety and connection to the physical world. The sacred truth inherent in the first chakra is that all is one. We learn this truth and explore its creative power through experiences connected to tribal or group dynamics. It carries the message that we are connected to all of life and that every choice we make and every belief we hold exerts influence upon the whole of life. The symbolic meaning is that we are part of one spiritual community. And as part of our spiritual development and our biological health, this sacred truth has physical expressions in honor, loyalty, justice, family and group bonds, groundedness, our need for a spiritual foundation, and the ability to manage physical power for survival. We begin to discover that all is one as we start life within our tribe or family. To be part of a tribe is a primal need, since we are completely dependent upon our tribe for basic survival needs: food, shelter, and clothing. As tribal beings, we are energetically designed to live together, to create together, to learn together, to be together, to need one another. Each of our tribal environments, from our biological tribe to the tribes we form with co-workers, to our tribal bonds with friends, provides the essential physical settings within which we can explore the creative power of this truth. And breathe, bringing that focus back into your breath, drawing that breath deep into the belly, expanding the lungs, knowing that that breath is nourishing and healing to every cell within your body. Know that you are completely supported by the mat beneath you. Know that you are completely safe within this space. And know how deeply you are loved. Breathing and allowing. All is well. And now taking your awareness outside of these walls for a moment. What information can you perceive? Can you hear a rumbling of a vehicle off in the distance, or some other sound? And as you inhale, can you then bring your awareness into this room, into these four walls, into the sound of the music, the sound of my voice, the smells in the air. Breathing and allowing. All is well. Let me introduce to you the practice of working with your chakras with the intention of feeding your spirit. Focus your attention now on the part of your body that houses your first chakra, the base of your spine. The color red. The Sanskrit name of Muladhara. This chakra at the base of your body, your root spine. This is the chakra that anchors your spirit to the physical life and the physical world. This energy center, the root of our energetic system, vibrates with the same frequency as Mother Earth. This is a truth, that the base of our own energetic system is exactly the same frequency as Mother Earth. The energy of this chakra is all about our need for logic, order, and structure. It is about physical grounding, general creation, and the truth that all is one. The first chakra is the root of your mental and emotional health. It connects us to our family beliefs, and supports the formation of identity and a sense of belonging to a group. The strengths of this chakra are family, bonding, honor, support, loyalty, and social attitudes. It is the source of your emotional and psychological stabilities that originate in your family unit or social environment. Take a moment to think about your family, your work environment, your social groups. How do they make you feel? Empowered? Anxious? Angry? Why? And breathe. Bringing that focus back into your breath. Drawing that breath deep into the belly. Expanding the lungs. Knowing that that breath is nourishing and healing to every cell within your body. We must learn to accept fully our sacred contract with our birth family and the spiritual lessons related to this. Realize the importance of conscious choice, and that choices are like numbers, that they have no end. The energy of our first chakra originates us in time and space to our 5 senses: sight, touch, sound, taste, and smell. This energy center in us also warehouses specific fears. Fears of physical survival, of group abandonment, loss of physical order, and superstitions and spells live here within this energy center. At this level of energy, loyalty equals love here. Do you share superstitions, beliefs, or values with your family? Which ones don't you share? Do these beliefs, superstitions, or values that you share with your family bring you joy and a feeling of acceptance? Or do those same beliefs, values, and superstitions create feelings of anger, guilt, or anxiety? What is your personal code of honor? Do you even have one? Have you even thought about that? Think about that for a moment and breathe. Drawing that breath deep into the belly, expanding the lungs, knowing that that breath is nourishing and healing every cell within your body. Take a moment now to reflect on any emotions of anger, guilt, anxiety, or depression that you have with your mother, your father, your siblings, and or other family members. And now take a moment to reflect on all of the positive attributes that you have received from your mother, your father, your siblings, and or other family members. Are you willing to do the necessary work to heal any relationship that causes you pain? Feel the earth beneath you. Allow yourself to ask for guidance and list the issues that you seek guidance for. Picture yourself for a moment sitting upon the earth, sitting upon the cool, moist earth. Picture yourself smelling the newly cut grass, and feel yourself embraced by the soft wind, and feel the heat of the sun upon your body. There is only the earth and you now. Only you and Gaia. This is your connection to your own life, to who you are, and to the experience of being alive. The truth that all is one resides here, and as you radiate in this part of your body, you can feel that truth. Because your first chakra is connected to your legs, feel that power. Learn to walk in the truth that no matter where you walk on this earth, that you are connected to that electrical guidance that met you on the day that you were born. And breathe. Drawing that breath deep into your belly, expanding your lungs, allowing that breath to nourish and heal every cell of your body. You have a circuit, and that circuit connects you to every form of life on this planet, the ocean, the air, the trees, the birds and the bees, all of it. Take a moment now and think about your day. Did you feel safe and secure on this day in your life? Did something scare you about today? Feel your fears. Pull them into your consciousness and learn to work with them. What strengths can you feel from this part of your body? This is the part of your body that pulls from the deep sense you have of trusting in your own strength to stand tall, to handle whatever weight is put on your shoulders. You have tremendous strength. Feel that. It emanates from this part of your body. Sense that. Learn to make this power in you strong. Feel that. And as we release our final prayer, that we have only the now, that my attention will not go backwards into my history, nor forward into my future, that I am committed to present time, to remain grounded in my world, to feeling a bond with each person that I meet, to respecting my own integrity and my own honor, to living within the energy of love and compassion this day, and learning to return to that energy when I don't feel it, to making wise and blessed choices with my will, to release the need to know why things happen as they do, and to not project expectations over how I want this day to be and how I want others to be. And finally, my last prayer, to trust in the universe and to bless my day with gratitude and with love. Breathing and allowing. All is well. And now imagine that you are lying upon the earth, the cool, moist earth of the evening. That you can feel the heat of the final rays of the sun cast upon your body. That you can feel that gentle caress across your skin of the wind. And that as you lie there in stillness and complete relaxation, that you can hear the whispering of the trees as the breeze passes through the leaves. And your body is so completely relaxed, so completely at ease, that you can imagine yourself beginning to rise off of the earth, hovering above the blades of grass. And that as you inhale deeply into your lungs, your body rises even higher, above the flowers and the shrubs. And with each deep, relaxing breath, you rise even higher, into the trees and beyond, moving towards the clouds and feeling the moistness and the coolness of the clouds as your body passes through them. Breathing deeply, we rise even higher into the darkness of the night, until we can see ourselves clearly in our mind's eye as one of those beautiful sparkling lights in the nighttime sky. The energy that is you. And welcoming you back from your journey. Wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Maybe reaching your arms above your head and offering your body a gentle stretch, and maybe moving gently side to side. And then maybe you choose to take these final moments of delicious relaxation, curled up on either side of your body with your eyes still closed, as we take in our final words from Carolyn. This is your tribal center that represents your connection to physical life as well as to the earth itself. This is the chakra through which you are connected to the laws of nature and to its cycles and rhythms. You are part of this ecosystem, and in order to thrive, you need to live in harmony with nature's ecosystem. You need to plant seeds, both symbolically and literally speaking. You need to stick your hands in the earth and connect to that life force. You need to be rooted in something that matters. You need to be a part of a community of people, a community of life. And you need to matter to this community and find the people who matter to you as well. You cannot define meaningful relationships only by those that are romantic. Life is filled with meaningful relationships of all kinds. You need to contribute to the living community that you are a part of on this earth. And as you feel ready, knowing that there is absolutely no hurry to return to a seated position, maybe reaching for that cup of tea that you so lovingly provided for yourself at the beginning, and simply taking that moment to offer yourself a sip. Allowing that awareness to slowly seep back into the physical form, anchoring you once again into this time and space. Allowing your eyes to softly open, taking in the light of the room. Maybe offering the body some physical movements, bending side to side or moving other parts of the body. And if it is part of your practice, drawing your hands to heart center. I'd like to take this opportunity at the end of every one of our sessions to thank you for joining me, to thank you for taking the time to look into the world behind your eyes, to discover that we are all connected, that we really truly are all one, that we all breathe together, that what we do to one, we do to the whole. That we discover those inner truths that give us courage and strength to stand within ourselves and move forward on this beautiful journey that we call life. Namaste.